Good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is Monday night. It is 6 p.m. or just gone 6 p.m. Time for Debate Savva. I have to be very, very clear. This is a show where I want people to come on that want to debate, that have a real point that they feel strongly about, that they want to discuss, that they want to debate. This isn't a fan phone-in show like the other days. Please don't ring in if you've got nothing to say. Please, I need to be really clear about this. And I want to be very, very, very clear from the start. When people come on, it's a big thing for people to switch their camera on and to come on stream and debate. And what I'm noticing lately is a lot of people in the chat, whether some of the things that they are leveling at these guests, we can't do that. Listen, all right, I probably need to calm down as well. And sometimes we get a bit heated. But please, 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 can we respect that everyone coming on has been, I say brave. Everyone has been, taking their time, given their time to me. And we need to show respect. If you don't agree with their point, just say you don't agree with their point. Look, everyone knows my views on Tottenham. I'm very transparent about it. I'm not one of these YouTubers who'll sit on the fence and just hope everything's okay and never really have an opinion. I am who I am. I believe what I believe. I don't believe what I believe for YouTube. I don't believe what I believe for likes, clicks, and views. I believe what I believe. Ask those who know me. Ask those in WhatsApp groups with me. This is what I believe. So what's happened? What's happened in the last week since we did Debate Savva? So Tottenham Hotspur have lost yet again 2-1 to Newcastle. Lots of excuses being made. Lots of people making videos saying they're proud of Tottenham. Are you proud of Tottenham? Let me know. Come on and let me know. For me, I'm not proud that we keep losing games. We're always proud. We're always proud of something other than actually football. What else has happened? So news today that two clubs are looking at sacking their manager. One of them is not Tottenham, apparently. Everton, apparently in talks about letting Sean Dyche go. And also lots of talk doing the rounds today that West Ham are looking at it, but there's been nothing confirmed. I'm getting a lot of people saying, oh my God, he's been sacked. And I'm looking around going, well, I can't see anywhere that Lopetegui, I'm told, has been sacked. So look, it makes sense if West Ham sack Lopetegui. He's not done a good job. West Ham have got 8 points from their last 8 games, and Tottenham have 5 points from their last 8 games. But their fans are very unhappy with their manager, and our fans apparently really do like failure. So we'll see. Listen, the floor is open to you guys. Please, as I said, please don't come on if you've got nothing to say. I want people that want to debate. So when I allow you onto the screen, what I want is you to say, hi, Sav, I want to talk about boom, right? Preferably a debate. I mean, look, we can do the nicey talk, but we want a debate. We want to make it interesting for the viewers. And that's what YouTube should all be about. So here is the link. The link is in the chat. I am going to pin it, which means that it will be there for everyone to see for the rest of the show. We are only going to go for an hour and a half tonight. I will be finishing just after 6:30. And then at 7:45, I will be live on Big Up watching Wolves versus Nottingham Forest. If anyone wants to come over and watch. We had a good time yesterday watching the Liverpool Man United game. We're getting a good crowd over there now. Everyone over there relaxes, chills out, has fun. And I suppose it's a little bit of escapism from Tottenham Hotspur for a little bit of time. So as all of those know, YouTube is my Tottenham place, and most of my other content, watch-along wise, is on Big Up. However, tomorrow, join us live at 6 p.m. for a brand new panel show, which is called The Collective. So it's myself, it's Charlie representing Chelsea from Blue Brother. It is Hooks from Halftime Hooks, who's representing Arsenal. Wolfie's representing Nottingham Forest from Forest Fan TV. And Puxy from Liverpool is Red is representing Liverpool. So a brand new panel show for everyone to get their teeth into. Tomorrow in the morning at 10 a.m., I've got Jose L from El Tel Cockerel joining my show. And then on tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing the Newcastle versus Arsenal game on Big Up. Then on Wednesday, we've got a big show for you guys. Wednesday, between 10 and 11, I'm going to be joined by the Hotspur Cave, who I can see in the chat now. And then at 5 p.m., Stella and myself are going to be doing a brand new 1 hour weekly show called Ask Savva and Stell. Might work on that title, where I ask for your questions before the show goes live, and then we will answer them. And then straight after that will be my watch-along for Tottenham Hotspur versus Liverpool. So a lot of streaming coming up this week. And then Thursday, we'll have the early morning show and maybe a little bit of time off on Thursday evening and Thursday afternoon. And then we're back at it for the weekend, right, for the FA Cup content. So please do smash the like button. Let's get that out of the way before we start getting guests on. There are nearly 200 of you in here already, only 41 likes. So far, no one has decided to come in. When they do, I will bring them on. And in between then, everyone knows I can talk. So we'll be absolutely fine. Let's see who's in the chat. Sue, I live for this. I live for it. I will live and die on the sword, right? I will. I'm somebody who I believe my opinions, and I will put my argument forward for my opinions, Sue, rather than all these people that just say, hey, I just support Spurs, back the manager. Great. That's brilliant. It's not really good for football chat or entertainment. It's not really good to watch on YouTube, is it? I see too many shows where I switch on and I'm 10 minutes in and I'm like, no one's talked football. Like no one's talking about tactics and results and signings, and it's all just a bit of, and that's not me. I want football. I want some debate. Who have we got in the chat? Oh, dearie me. It's Angus. How are we doing, Angus? How you doing, man? What's happening? Cunha, is he joining you? Is he signing a new contract at Wolverhampton Wanderers? Here's Reezy. I know he disagrees with me. He'll never come on, though. Big up to Reezy. Eamon Burns has said, it hurts me, Savva, when you say we lost again. We played an informed Newcastle team with 10 injuries. Give them credit. Also, we don't have 10 injuries. No, that's a lie. Also, we could have won that game if it wasn't for an outrageous decision. There wasn't any outrageous decisions. It wasn't a penalty. Eamon, again, as I said, I'll call this out all day long. It's the excuses and incorrect facts. We didn't have 10 injuries in any way, shape, or form. This has to stop. Other clubs have injuries like we do, but for some reason, we want to say this. Eamon, there'll be an excuse next week and the week after and the week before. There's just always an excuse. At some point, we have to own it. So, no, I'm not having that at all. You can't name me the 10 injuries we had. And most of those players that are injured don't even play in the first team when they're fit anyway. Big up to Tony Rodriguez. Daryl Denton's in the chat. Jano's in the chat as well. Look, lots of talk about West Ham letting go of Lopetegui and bringing in Graham Potter, but nothing has been announced yet. Spoken to a few of my West Ham mates this afternoon who said they'll take that. They said, look, we realise we've made the wrong decision. Let's move on. Spurs fans just want to keep giving a manager more time when the results are getting worse and worse. Tony has said, yeah, West Ham in talks to name Graham Potter. We'll see. I mean, at the moment, they haven't yet, but I agree with you. And West Ham sacking the manager, who's 1 point behind us, had less money to spend, 12 months less time, 1 less preseason and 2 less transfer windows. Yeah, mate, I get it. I completely get it. As I said, Everton looking as well. They're not happy with their manager. But Spurs, apparently, we're just going to keep him in there, and fans seem to like it. So if the fans that want him to stay, they can't really complain if we have a terrible season. They want him to stay. Good evening to Mark Taylor. How you doing, Mark? Good evening to Ethan Bates. Big up to General Avgeek. No one wants to debate anything. This could just become a show of me talking about football. We're not. No. Money Mason said, "Hey Sav, I hope you're well. Watching the stream and last night. And if I'm honest, my full opinion on Ange is basically what Marlon said. But I very much agree with some, if not most, points you make. Listen, each to their own. I just don't go by this reasoning that, well, who else is there? And this reasoning that no one can come in and win anything. It's funny how this has all come about now after all these people backed him in the summer. Again, nice fluffy things to say, Eamon. But I mean, again, what evidence would he turn this round? What does turning this round mean? I'd love someone to come on and tell me how he's going to turn it around. I'd love someone to come on and tell me what it means. No one can seem to do it. We've got a lot of fans with fluffy one-liners. It's real fluff, isn't it? Just get behind the club. I'm behind the club. I'm not behind the manager. I think the manager's ruining the club. D&B Forever said, I can't understand why fans are happy either. Another defeat of the weekend. Yeah, we're literally acting now, aren't we, like we're fans of a relegation-threatened club. Good evening to Chloe. How you doing, love? Hope you are well. Again, look, guys and girls, you all know me. I don't do the whole excuses thing. I really don't do it. It's too many excuses. Too many excuses. There's always an excuse. Injuries, suspensions, referee, transfer windows, Levy. It's like, at what point are we just going to say it's not good? Alexander, how are you? Has said some's football knowledge in here is questionable. The first name that popped in many's heads was to replace Andrew Allardyce, Redknapp, Warnock. Ridiculous to think a retired manager would do. I think you've completely misunderstood people. I think there's a lot of sarcasm flying around. What a lot of people are saying is they're so fed up with this manager that they're using examples of names of people that tend to get jobs when they become available. I think you've completely missed sarcasm in this one. Good afternoon to Jun. Hope you are well. Rename the show with Stel to Two Greeks, One Club. Love that. I'll ask Stel, yeah. Savva, who's one person you would love to have a debate with? Oh, I don't know. I'll debate anyone. I don't care. I'd love to debate Chris Cowlin. I would. I'd truly like to debate Chris Cowlin. If we're going with YouTubers, I'd like to debate Chris Cowlin. I would like to debate. Who would I like to debate? I don't know. Most people I want to debate, I do debate, right? I mean, I'd like to debate Chris Cowlin. I would. I'd like to debate Lee McQueen as well. I think he's quite a funny character. I've met Lee. He's a very funny guy. Who else would I like to debate? I don't know. Anyone really. Sonny talks Spurs. I'd debate him. I don't agree with his opinions either. Andrew said, Savva, one signing, somewhat realistic, but you can have a bit of a dream with it. Who are you picking? I want a DM. I want to, again, I find it really difficult, Andrew, to answer these questions because I feel like I want a DM, but I just don't think Ange knows how to play with one properly. So again, I want a really good centre-back like a Skriniar. I think he would ruin him. I think he will make most players look poor. And this is what I think a lot of pundits are now starting to see, that the manager's tactics are making us look a lot worse than the squad is. And what I find truly funny, Andrew, is the number of fans out there that said they were so happy with our squad. They were happy with, oh my God, look at the options in midfield with Sarr and Bentancur and Basuma and Kulu and Madison and Johnson on the wing with Johnson on the wing, and you've got Son the other side and Solanke and this player and that player. Romero's great. Van der Ven's great. Porro's great. Adogi's great. Vicario's great. Oh, Dragoshin, what a signing. Blah, blah, blah. Bergval's great. Gray's great. Everyone's great. Then when it starts to go badly, like we thought it would, most of us, well, some of us, it's the players aren't good enough, and the players like, well, hang on. No one was saying this. When all these people saw the squad in the summer, no one was saying, oh, do you know what? Not saying no one. Most people making videos talking about finishing third and 80 plus points. And I was saying, based on what? Based on what? The squad isn't big enough. The players aren't as great as no, we're going to do it. Then when I go, well, we're doing poorly, like I thought we'd do. But the players, well, got to make your minds up. People have really got to make their minds up. Which one is it? Like, we just keep changing. Keep changing every time. Chloe, agreed. What I don't understand is when these people say these throwaway lines to me, no one can explain why. And I don't believe in fairy dust. I don't believe in magic, right? So I want somebody to come on and tell me, well, the reason is Ange is going to do X, Y, Z. This is what he did. No one can do it. Good evening, Mark Taylor. I hope you're doing well. Wolf 39. By the way, no one has tried to come on yet. This is a first, but okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't mind. Wolf 39 says, so what does Levy see in Ange that shows a decent future? It's one thing to give chances. It's another to do the same thing each week and expect a different outcome. I mean, this is essentially it, right? However you chop up this sentence, this is essentially it. By the way, David Ornstein has just said that Tottenham, Man United, and Juventus exploring a deal to sign Randall Kolo Muani on loan from PSG. All three clubs interested or all three have expressed their interest, currently viewed as top contenders. Regarding the 26-year-old PSG forward amongst the best versatile attackers available. So Tottenham up against Man United, Tottenham up against Juventus. Let's see what do Spurs do. Let's see what Spurs do. Can we fend them off to get Muani? Do you want Muani? Lots of people think that he's a bit of a flash in the pan and hasn't really fulfilled his potential. What do you think? Let me know. Kevin McBain has said, Savva, don't you think if we sack Ange, we'll see Ryan Mason in charge? Surely candidates for next manager. So, Kevin, I'm at the stage where I'd have Ryan Mason for 4 months. I think Ange is that bad a manager. I think he is truly atrocious. The worst manager I can remember seeing in charge of Tottenham, and I'm getting on a bit. Paul Van Beek has said, it's depressing. I can't see how we're going to win a game. Looking forward to the Tamworth game. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying that, right? Look, we've got after the Arsenal game and the Tamworth, look, with Liverpool, Tamworth, Arsenal. After that, we've got Everton away, and Everton at the moment they're possibly talking about losing their manager. Will they have a new manager bounce? Will Sean Dyche be fighting for his life? This is going to be really, really interesting. Big up Chloe has said, you're on course to lose half your games this season. A whole BS process to finish mid-table. Agreed. It's just dreadful. Completely agree with you. Listen, I think the only serious ones I've seen are people that have said they take Harry till the end of the season. I'm one of them. I'll take Harry till the end of the season. I'd take you until the end of the season if it meant this manager was not in charge. Ali Gold, I mean, yeah, no, I don't think I would like to debate Ali Gold. I think Ali Gold, again, is part of the Tottenham media, isn't he? So I don't feel like it would be a good debate. I don't really feel like I'd get any honesty. I feel like it would, and I like Ali Gold, by the way. I watched some of his videos. I just feel like it would be I feel like he'd be limited in what he's going to say, but I like Ali Gold, so I'm not going to say anything bad about him. James, the Spurs fan, has said, Lancashire not used again despite chasing a goal. Yeah, madness. Absolutely madness. Down the years, managers have always, when they've got in these situations, they've got a young striker on a bench, throw him in, see what he can do. It might hit his backside and go in, and suddenly that starts a run of wins. He doesn't do it, and he just doesn't do anything obvious. It's almost like he's out there to sabotage himself. Yes, I've just read it out. Big up to Aaron. Hope you're well. Alan has said, hey, Savva, mate, all the way from California. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, Alan. I hope you are well. Big up to all of you. Smash the likes. There's 352 of you and only 85 likes. Come on, we shouldn't have to do this. Let's make this an obvious thing. And we are chasing down. We're chasing down 15.5K. Only 140 to go. Good evening to the wife who has just walked in the house. Good evening to you. Would you like to come on and debate, Savva? She would not like to come on and debate with me. No, she would not. She'd wipe the floor with me. I know that. You don't win a debate with your wife. Men, learn these things. Lucky Singh has said you're gonna have to get transfers, otherwise you're gonna drop further. Well, and only if the transfers are good players, right? It can't just be players for the sake of it. Here's what I would say. Maybe this might be a bit controversial. Here's what I would say about signing a player like Kolo Muani. I'm not against it. I'm not excited by it. I think there's something he can offer us. But again, I will ask you this question. Does signing Kolo Muani fix how bad we are in the midfield, how wide open we are? Does it fix how wide open we are in the fullback areas? Does it fix the high line? For me, I think, yes, we need to sign players, but before we worry about what players come in and making an immediate impact, I think we need to look at what's already in our own house and how do we get our tactics set up. I think there's enough quality at Spurs that we should nowhere near be 12th in the table. It's just my opinion. Phil Moss has said, big up Phil, has said, Savva, I think you'd enjoy debating Steve Perryman. I've had Steve Perryman on my show before. Really nice guy. I don't feel like you have a proper debate with a Spurs legend, right? I mean, this is one of the greatest players to ever play for Tottenham Hotspur. I feel like when someone like Steve Perryman talks, we listen and we learn and we take in the information. But as I said, I'll happily debate any Spurs YouTuber, any Spurs fan. It's not a problem. I think it's healthy. I'm seeing people say things like, I will never go and do shows with anyone with that opinion. And I think to myself, well, how close-minded is that? Imagine me saying, I'm never going to speak. I'm never going to invite onto my show, and I'm never going to debate anybody that likes Ange. Can you imagine if I said that? I mean, it's pretty narrow-minded. And for me, it shows lack of football knowledge that those people don't want to have those discussions. But the link is in the chat. We'll see. Wolf39 has said, would like to hear some views on what the requirements are to be classed as world-class. Wolf39, I would say this. The requirements to be classed as world-class are very much down to the individual. So for me, I think world-class is when you're at the top level and you're doing it week in, week out for years. Salah, Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, Virgil van Dijk, Harry Kane. I think when we look at those sort of the Tony Cruzes of this world, the Luka Modric's, when you're doing it week in, week out for a number of years, that for me is that consistent form you need to show to be called world class. Nowadays, it feels like we're in this pattern of behavior where somebody comes in, has a good half a season, has 10 good games, and then people go, world class, you know, whoa, let's slow down a little bit. But each to their own. What I think is world class isn't the defining metric for world class. By the way, whoever that is that's just joined the waiting area, please put your camera on and then I will bring you on. But you must have your camera on, people. I'm not going to be doing it with just audio because that gets people in trouble. We learn the hard way with these things. Good evening to you, DP. Good evening to you. Tony Rodriguez has said potentially a defensive DM central midfielder, but not a massive priority. I mean, that sums it up for me, Tony, that isn't a massive priority. That should be the only priority right now. A midfielder that sits in front of that back four and says, I will stay here and defend. The fact that that isn't a priority concerns me even more about this manager. Look who we've got. Oh, turn me down, Angus.
Hmm?
You've got me on somewhere.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
That's all right.
I got a message. That's all right.
Right. Have you turned me off?
Yeah.
I can still hear me. I can still hear
Well,
everything
1
I'm
second.
saying.
I'll come back. I'll come back
All right,
out.
come back on. All right, mate. While he does that, oh, look who it is. It's Mr. Let's Sack Pep Guardiola. Alf, how are you, Alf?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm very good. This is the first time I think I've seen you without your dressing gown on, which
I believe I've come on without it, but I usually wear it when it's late because it gets really cold here, but it's not that cold today.
Where you're in Belgium, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Usually gets pretty cold at night.
I can imagine. I'm sure it's more beautiful than England and London anyway. Alf, what are we talking about, mate? What are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about sacking managers, not Pepto. Well, maybe we can talk about that later, but I just had this conversation, and I know for a fact you're going to disagree. I had it with someone else, and I decided, because they only threw insults, I knew, let's have the conversation with someone who's a bit more mature, that I know is going to disagree. I don't think sacking managers in January makes sense. Because here's the thing, right? If you have a manager that you think is worth sacking in January, let's say you're going to get new players in January.
Okay.
If your manager is that bad that it's worth the sacrifice of getting in a new manager, trying to get them accustomed within the transfer period of January, then I think you should have sacked them before January. I don't think it makes sense to sack managers in January.
Okay, so first and foremost, let me ask you your opinion. What is the relevance of the month? What does it matter whether you sack them in December, January, February? Why is January not a good month to sack a manager, in your opinion?
Well, I think you can sack a manager in pretty much every month except for January, because you have a 1 month transfer period in January. Sacking a manager in August is a bit iffy, but you have a 1 month transfer period in January. And if you're going to sack a manager, now you're suddenly looking for a new manager who is not accustomed to your team yet. You're probably going to be wanting to buy players if your performances are bad enough to sack a manager. You're going to lose about 2 weeks of that 1 month transfer window. In my opinion, if a manager is that bad, that you want to sacrifice 2 weeks of a 1 month transfer window, why have you not sacked him before January? That is my take on that.
Yeah, sure. Look, I understand, but for me, I think you've sometimes got to look at the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
So if a manager's coming in to manage a club, let's say they join in January, they've got a lot of time. They've got a lot of time to turn things around if a new manager comes in. And listen, Alf, here's where I'll meet in the middle, right? I don't think every time a manager is sacked, it works, right? In the short term. Of course it doesn't. But there are many occasions where sacking a manager has uplifted the fortunes of the team that sacks that manager, and the team goes on to secure a number of points to maybe it's to save them from relegation, maybe it's to reignite a top 4 boost, maybe it's to get them, I don't know, for Spurs, we're chasing 7th? I don't know. All I would say is this.
Where are you right now in the table?
We're 12th in the table at the moment, 9 points off 7th.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, right. So the fact that you've said wow is why I want the manager sacked. For me, I truly believe that if you bring in a new manager, I don't care whether it's August, I don't care if it's September, December, I don't care, right? If you bring in a manager now, I think you can galvanize the club and galvanize the squad. Now, does that mean I think a new manager is going to come in and suddenly we're going to close a 12-point gap to the top 4? No. But I do feel it will give you a bit of momentum going into next season. Now, if we look at your neighbours, right? If we look at Man United,
yes,
lots of people will go, oh, well, look, Ruben Amorim's come in. It's not immediately turned around. But what you can see from when you watch Man United is you can see what he wants to implement.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can see immediately what their shape is, what the tactics are. But he might not think, well, okay, this player can play my tactics. This player can't. I'm going to work on this to the end of the season so that when I bring new players in the summer transfer window, they can slot into hopefully what starts to become a bit more of an oiled machine.
Yeah, but my thing is, why would you do that in January? Like, let's take Ange as an example. I'm sorry, he should have been gone in October or something like that. He should have been long gone. Sacking him in January is just way too late. And if you have a manager, let's say you bring them in December, and they turn out to be so bad, why not just wait until December, or sorry, until February, get your transfer window done, focus on your transfers, and then sack a manager? There's probably a lot of exceptions to that thing that you could name where I would agree, like Ange Postecoglou. I would agree, you should have sacked him long ago, and you should probably be sacking him right now. But that's just a matter of you've waited too long to sack him, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I understand, but as I said, for me, I think the club needs not a reboot in terms of. I know people will misconstrue what I'm about to say. Not a reboot in terms of we need a brand new philosophy and we need everything new. I think the players need a fresh perspective because, from my point of view, if we keep playing the way we're playing, and we're not going to get relegated, touch wood, fingers crossed, we're not going to get relegated. But at the moment, Alf, everything's going so far backwards. I truly believe if you brought in a new manager now, I think it would give us new vigor going into the FA Cup, going into the final stages of the Europa League group stage. Only my opinion. I appreciate what you're saying, but for me, personally, I've seen a year too much of this manager. I'm 12 months bored of him now.
But I can fully get that. I can fully get that, and like the reason why I come on to talk about this, is because I was Pep out. The moment we got to January, I said, okay, it's January, might as well stick with him now, and because we had a conversation then, me and someone I know in real life, about, well, you're not being consistent because blah blah blah, and I was like, we should be focusing on getting new players in. If we sack Pep now, are you telling me we're getting over January Simone Inzaghi? Like, that is the guy I want. Are you telling me we're getting him over January? And that's kind of where I was going. It doesn't make sense for me to sack a manager during January when you really need players more. Maybe if your squad is fine and the manager is the main issue, then it makes sense. But if your squad
but isn't there a difference? If you guys sack Pep Guardiola, you need to go for one of the world's best managers to come in. One of the world's best managers is going to be at one of the world's best clubs. Getting them out mid-season is going to be difficult. I don't think Spurs are shopping in that same market. For me, I don't think.
I guess it is different depending on the club and depending on as well if you need players. Like, if you don't really need new players, I guess it doesn't matter that it's transfer window because you don't need new players. But in City's case, we really do need those new players. So I want to focus on getting those new players and not waste energy on looking for managers right now.
Yeah, look, look. There's no right or wrong here, right? I can only ever offer my opinion. People will think it's toxic and negative, but look, as a fan, I don't enjoy watching Tottenham at the moment. I'm not excited. I'm tired of the same old tactics, and I'm tired that he doesn't try anything. There was a number of months out where I was saying, look, I'm not Ange out. Like, before I was fully Ange out, I was like, I'm not Ange out, but he's got to adapt. He's got to try. And he never did. And even since I've been fully Ange out, he's never adapted. He's never tried anything different. It's all the same. It's the same passing out the back, no matter who's playing. It's boring. It's boring.
And it's unimaginable because the reason why Man City fans wanted Pep out, and I'm not the only one, there were a lot of City fans in a riot, is because Pep kept doing the same stuff for, let's say, 2-3 months. I was really happy during the Leicester game. You can go back to my watch along. 10 minutes in, I said, even if we lose today, I'm happy with Pep in that watch along because he entirely changed his system. I can't even imagine having to watch that for a full year, for 18 months with Ange. Which is also why I can't imagine why any Spurs fan is still Ange in. Like, I would get it if he won you trophies, but he hasn't.
Yeah, look. At the end of the day, look. I think the thing is, everyone's entitled to their view, right? I do believe everyone's entitled to their view. That where I come from, a really hard standpoint for me, Alf, is when people come to me with their view. I'm somebody who I want information. I'm not someone that when you go, oh, I'm Anjin, cool. Why? Just because. Well, why? He's going to turn it around.
I'm a bit the same, but
why? Why is he going to turn it around?
I think my problem is I always try to seek middle ground, even if it isn't middle ground. I think I'm a bit too soft in that, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely, I do. And look, at the end of the day, though, look, Man City. Let's quickly talk about that before I let you go, Alf. And by the way, anybody else who wants to come on, the link is in the chat. It is pinned as well. Man City, last 3 games, drew one, won the last 2. Yes. I watched your game back against West Ham. You played some really good stuff. It looked a little bit more like the old City, moving the ball about. I thought Foden looked, I don't want to say back to his best, but he looked lively, and Haaland looked sharper, and et cetera, et cetera. By the way, Caesar, if you are backstage, please let me know what you want to debate. This is a debate show, Caesar, just to let you know. So I need you to want to debate me on something. I'm not sure if you can explain that to him, Alf, in his language in a minute, but I need people that debate. I don't really need to. Anyway, so Man City turning a corner?
I hope so. But, what you said about the game against West Ham, it's built upon the game against Leicester, I think, because when we played against Leicester City, I said, okay, we won. We changed a lot. We had Rico Lewis playing as a kind of midfielder, and he came back into the right back areas, as he always does, but Foden was there to help him from the right. And what he then built upon in the game against West Ham is he made sure Foden was even more down that right back area. He made sure Foden was helping. If you look at a lot of transition, Foden was there to make sure that the balls through were being handled. Foden was almost a wing back, which I really liked. And Bernardo Silva, he was often having to run back into Guardiola's place because Guardiola pushed too far up sometimes in the Leicester game. What he changed then in the West Ham game is he kept Guardiola a bit more back. And I feel like in those 2 games, Leicester City and West Ham, Pep Guardiola has changed more to how we play than in 3 months. I've been talking about having Savio on the left wing since he arrived. And finally, we're seeing Savio on the left wing, and he's doing really well. We're playing a bit more direct. Hunt is being allowed to get a bit more involved as well. So it's a lot better just tactically set up. And I don't understand why Pep had to wait this long to make these decisions. Maybe he was waiting on Ake to come back. I'm not quite sure. He could have played GSP. Is it a lack of trust in academy? I'm not sure what it is. I'm just happy that Pep has actually changed some tactics. But now against the next game here, is that Brentford away? I think it is. So Brentford away, that's going to be a tough game. I believe they have the best home records right now in the Premier League. So
that's so you're Brentford away next. Is that your game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, what if you win that though? If you win that, you're then suddenly 10 points from 12, and you're now then back right in the mix for the top 2-3, right? So is it as bad as you?
Let's talk about that. Against Brentford, there has to be one big change, in my opinion.
Go on.
I want to see JSP play, and I know that's wild, but I want JSP to play centre back or right back, depending on what Pep prefers. I can't into the right back role.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, Borsi.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You got to remember we're Spurs fans, so we don't do the nicknames. Sorry. We need to know their real name. Yeah.
So I want to see Rico Lewis or O'Reilly, but I think Rico Lewis is more likely. play for Bernardo Silva, and I want to see Bernardo Silva come on. And my reasoning is we're probably going to be doing a lot of running because Brentford, we're going to have to be honest, Brentford is going to get a few chances, I think. I don't think we can stop them from getting chances. So I think we're going to have to do a lot of running. I don't think Bernardo Silva can do that anymore, which is why just that change, I think we can win. I think we're playing really good again. If we win against Brentford, that is for me turning a corner. That is for me turning a corner if we win against Brentford.
Well, yeah, if you win against Brentford, you're now suddenly 10 points from 12 and you're right back in the mix. Listen, again, it all depends. Liverpool have got the title in their hands.
Yeah,
but
they're going to win it.
A couple more results like what they had yesterday, and suddenly the door opens up. So, as I said, I would always stick with Pep Guardiola if he was my manager. You know what he can do. And it is what it is. But look, I'm going to let you go because I've got Angus waiting in the background.
Yeah.
Look, Caesar, just quickly, Caesar, this is my debate show. Can you come on to my fan call-in show instead? Because otherwise we haven't really got anything to debate, Caesar. It's am I making sense? If that's okay, Caesar, can you come on to my fan call-in show midweek instead of my debate show? Is that all right? Look, thank you very much, Alf. I really appreciate you coming on. Look, I would say best of luck to your team. I don't really care about the top of the table at the moment. Spurs aren't anywhere near there. But look, thanks for coming on, and we'll catch you a little bit later.
Yep.
Take care, buddy. See you later. I mean, I'll tell you what, you're very opinionated in the chat. This guy is very opinionated in the chat. I can only have conversations and debate with people that come on. And I saw what you were peddling in the chat, like Ruben Amorim. And yes, it is a result. Feel free to come on, by the way. Yes, it is a results-based business. But, I mean, Ruben Amorim's been there about 10 games. Right, hasn't got any of his own players. I mean, what are you expecting Ruben Amorim to do? Like, they're never going to make Champions League. I think he's a good manager that over time you're going to see him implement what he does. And already I think that it's mad you're using that to try and back Ange Postecoglou. But, hey, it is what it is. What do I know? Angus, welcome back.
Big up, bud. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. All good. I'm guessing you watched the game Saturday. Us against Brighton.
I've watched most of it back. I didn't actually see all of it because I was out. But I hear there was some the controversial decision for the penalty. I'm guessing is what you want to talk about.
Yes. Did you see it?
I did.
Did you see the highlights of it?
I did
you think
see
it was a penalty?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did think it was a penalty. Look, I do think, though, listen, I'll caveat this and say I do think football has gone so soft. I truly, truly do think football now is a really soft game. So many penalties aren't so many penalties that are given that for me back in the day, they would have just said, come on, play on. I do think that the Arsenal one, though, not because it's Arsenal, I do think that he just caught him square in the face, didn't he? And I mean, I'm guessing you've got a different view on it.
What do you think?
Let me hear your view on it.
Saliba touches the ball first. He gets a flick on the ball first, and then he contacts him. It's a soft penalty at the end of the day.
Listen, whether we're going to put it in the bucket of soft penalties or not, I do think it was a penalty. For me, I thought it was clumsy at best.
Yeah, it was clumsy.
Look, I do think it was a penalty. See, look, what I find really difficult, forget the Arsenal one only. I find it really difficult because I think the rules are so stupid these days in football. Like, for example, yesterday, by the letter of the law, it was a penalty against De Ligt, right?
Yeah.
In reality and in common sense, what on earth is he meant to do? Like, do you know what on earth is he meant to do? And the the number of people that are just going, well, his arms are in an unnatural position. I feel like a lot of people that are saying this have never played football. Like when you play football, you don't play with your hands by your side. So for me, when the ball was coming in yesterday, and it was a penalty, as I said, by the rules, when that ball comes in yesterday and the player heads it at De Ligt, who's 1 yard away, but in his action, he's going away from the ball. He's already in mid-flight. When you jump mid-flight, your arms aren't down by your sides. Look at Shearer when he attacked the ball. Bang. You watch how, if you go to any coaching session and see how people are taught to attack a ball, arms are out. Bang. You don't head the ball like that. So, look, it is the rules, but it's really silly. And I really enjoyed it more when it was, is it accidental, i.e. hand to ball or ball to hand? I think for me, we'd stop seeing so many silly penalties. Every game I watch now, there's penalties. Every game there's penalties. So yeah, that's, I just think it's really silly. And the difficult thing is, last thing I'll say, when people take still screenshots of a player like that, you've got to remember that moment is them moving in real time that quickly, right? That it's all very quick. A still screenshot, which is what we're basing this off, isn't. So look, I just think football's got really silly in this regard. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
Howard Webb changes the rules every single week for his narrative. It's true, though. It's true.
Yeah.
Do you not think?
I've never known such a simplistic game have to have its rules changed every year.
Every week.
It's constant. Like, how many times in the last decade have they changed the offside rule? It used to be great, right? Like, back in the day, don't get me wrong, there were terrible decisions, right?
Yeah.
But it was human error. It was like, sometimes you got them, sometimes you didn't. And now it's just like they're looking at everything, like every single goal now. You've seen when I do a watch along, I don't change the score immediately because I want to see right, what are VAR doing here. And I just think it takes away the kind of the emotions, the immediate emotions of the game for me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But look, I've never really been a big fan of VAR. So I'm probably against many on this. I think VAR has slowed the game down. Too many times where we're standing around waiting for decisions. Referees watching. Like I don't get it, right? Let's be honest. Yesterday, the Fulham game, right? In the Fulham game, clearly it was a penalty on Harry Wilson. Okay. First and foremost, I'm shocked the referee, who was about 5 yards away, couldn't see that. Fair enough, he didn't. Second of all, this is the bit I don't understand. Surely, if VAR have looked at it and got penalty, can't they just say, I don't know who the ref was, can't they just say it's a pen, clear as day? They have to send the ref to a monitor. The ref's watching about 15 retakes, and you're like, come on, man. We all saw that in real time was a penalty. Like, for me, I don't know. I feel it's killed the game. Let refs be refs. Let refs be refs. But, hey, that's just my opinion.
How are you feeling about Saturday? Do you play Saturday or Sunday?
We play Sunday. If I'm not wrong, someone in the chat will tell me I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm right, because I've set a watch along for it.
Are you BBC or ITV?
Hang on. Live FA Cup semi-final. Oh, no, that's not that game, is it? Like Tottenham, Tamworth v Tottenham. We're playing. I've put that on the 12th of Jan. So when is that? 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I think it's Sunday we're playing.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. The day after it's my birthday. So.
Oh, happy birthday. How am I feeling about it? I mean, look, it's Tamworth. For me, there should be any 11 you put out should take Tamworth to the cleaners. Football doesn't always work like that.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
You're Spurs at the end of the day. We've got Man United.
Where?
at the Emirates on Sunday.
Now, I tell you what, I think this is going to be interesting because if Man U play how they played yesterday, I thought I was really impressed with how Man United set up yesterday. I thought they looked really, really well drilled, really well coached. You could see they'd worked on it. And if I was Man United, I would do exactly the same thing again against Arsenal at the Emirates. What are you thinking?
It depends what the lineup I see. He has to go strong. But will he?
Of course,
I don't know.
of course. Why? I'll tell you the interesting thing is more than the FA Cup games at the weekend, we've both got League Cup semi-finals. You're playing tomorrow.
God, yeah.
You're at home tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Newcastle.
Home tomorrow, right? We were having this chat yesterday about it was more about the Tottenham Liverpool game. And we were saying, oh, well, Liverpool might rest and put loads of kids out. And then someone made it really clear that, hang on, at the weekend in the FA Cup, Liverpool have got Accrington Stanley, right? So wouldn't it make more sense for Liverpool to put their first team out against Tottenham in the League Cup semi-final and then rotate for Accrington Stanley? That's my worry because all Spurs fans are going, yeah, don't worry, Liverpool are going to rest all their players. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to. What do you make of it?
Even if they do you realise what players they're going to bring in are still better than your first team?
I agree. They're bringing in footballers like Harvey Elliott, Nunes, Jota, Tsimikas. Joe Gomez. They're not bringing in
even Kwanzaa as well.
Who?
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. Yeah, and I don't think he's going to. I reckon he might make 3 or 4 changes, but Liverpool are strong. And I think Liverpool know how to play us. So I'm truly worried about Wednesday night. What are you guys going to do against Newcastle? They're on fire.
Yeah, they're on fire. I have no idea. I've honestly no idea.
Yeah, it's going to be
big up, Philly.
Look, Angus, I have got Alex waiting in the background, so I'm going to let you go. But listen, thanks very much,
mate. If you want to do a preview of the North London derby, whenever you want, on the Sunday or whenever, come on.
I just said email me. I keep telling you to email me. Find my email address in my YouTube channel and email me.
I was going to say, you're on TikTok, right? Do you reply on TikTok at all?
Yeah.
For messages?
Yeah, message me on TikTok. Yeah. Cool.
Perfect.
All right, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
Take care, bro. Thank you. Big up to Angus. Never, ever will I be able to say good luck to his team, but that's just the nature of who he supports. The link is in the chat. We're only going until 1:30 tonight because then at 1:45, I need 15 minutes to eat something. And then at 1:45, we've got the watch along on Big Up for Wolves versus Forest, which should be a good game, actually. If Wolves win that game, just before I bring Alex on, if Wolves win that game, this is mad. Wolves will go 5 points behind Tottenham, and this is a team that had to sack their manager because of how bad they are. Alex,
big up,
my old friend, my old foe. How are you, mate? You good?
Good. Are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I'm living the dream. What is it that we're talking about or debating today?
I mean, it's not really a big one. I just want to hear your opinion about this, and I thought about it the other day. And regarding Ange, I just want to say, get it out there. I'm not a fan. His press conference is just everything. His whole demeanor and his competence in general. Just there's nothing for me to die on a hill for him about. I'm Swedish. I have no certain liking towards him in any sort of he's done nothing that I could say Conte or Jose or because they had CVs, they had their past, they had something you could sort of even in the rougher times you could rely on them to at least know what they're doing because they had their previous experience. But so this with Ange, I just want to get your opinion about the fact that he's taken us to a semifinal. I'm not making it about it's some trophy, it's a semifinal.
Yeah.
But don't you think that regarding what happened to Jose, that he didn't get to play the final that he brought us to, the League Cup final, don't you think that if you as a manager get a team, regardless of how you get them there, if you get your team to a final, don't you think it's their right, in a sense, to at least be able to finish it off? You know what I mean?
Listen, I agree with the Jose one. I agree with if you've got to the final, you get to play it. I agree.
Yeah.
Especially if you're sacked 5 days before that final. I agree.
Cautious, yeah.
I think the difficulty for me with Ange getting to a semi-final is this isn't new. We've been to millions of semi-finals before.
Yeah.
The issue that I have is not whether or not he should get the semi-final. It's just that he's doing a terrible job in general.
Yeah.
So, yes, on this hand, we're saying, well, he got to a semi-final. That's brilliant. He's won 3 games to get to a semi-final. It's not like we've had an exhausting 7-8 game run or whatever. He's got 3 games.
Yeah.
And then when I weigh that up against, well, just how terrible he's doing in the league, I think, should he not? I'll flip this question to you. We know he is going to be manager Wednesday night, right? He's not going anywhere. We know he's going to be manager. What if Spurs get hammered? Just hypothetically, what if Spurs get hammered Wednesday night by Liverpool? Let's say they win 3-0, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, something like this.
Impossible.
And it almost makes the final untouchable because you're not going to go to Anfield and beat them by 3 goals.
No.
What if that happens? Do we then say, well, he deserves the second leg as well? Or do we say, hang on, that's gone, the league gone? You know, how do we then start going, well, hang on, FA Cup, Europa League? What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, Anfield is the most, like, we're not United. You saw United yesterday. Everyone, most of the people thought they would get better, just based on previous forms. But you can't forget heritage. You can't forget rivalry. You can't forget the things that they have versus what we don't have. United getting up for Liverpool isn't the same as us getting up for Liverpool, in the sense where we completely like throw our form out of the window and just become another team. It's not going to happen. But for United, you could see yesterday they almost deserved to win the game, you could argue.
I thought they did. I thought they were the better team, if I'm honest. Yeah.
But as you say, if we just shit the bed during the first leg, then I mean, there's no point, and you can't really argue that. Oh, he hasn't done anything in the FA Cup. It hasn't even started yet. The the Europa League. It's such a dragged out competition. It goes from the start of the season to the end, and it's a lot of games to get through. So we can't really get that argument that he's taken us somewhere there. He just qualified us. But it was my initial argument. I just wanted to say, just as a manager, I think this should apply to any club. If you get your team, regardless of how garbage he's been in the league, that he's gotten us the semifinals, should give him, because I feel like the club should at least learn that I don't think there's any fan that didn't get just upset by the fact that Jose got sacked before. Like the best manager you could think of to win a final got sacked before that. And I'm not saying Ange has the same.
I agree. I think the difference is, Alex, for me, is that the final of the League Cup isn't for another 2.5 months.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
I think there's look, in that 2.5 months, there's a lot of damage or a lot of repair that can be done at the club. Now, there's a lot of people who say, don't worry, this will get turned around. I never quite know what they mean, Alex. I think, again, you know me by now, Alex. You've watched me enough to know me, right? Yeah. When people put these throwaway comments, he'll turn it around. What does, first of all, why? Second of all, what's the barometer of turning it around? Is that saying, right, we've got 18 league games left, we're going to win 10, draw 3, lose 5? Like, what does that mean, turn it around?
They've just thrown the facts out of the window. It's all ignored for the simple, I guess every basic fan they've lashed on to the fact that, when all of our players come back, that's when he's going to turn a corner. That's when, because as of now, even when we have our players injured, could you make the argument that he should at least try something new? Because players at stake, they're still footballers, they're still professional football, so it's nothing that says that we should be losing this many games. They should be able to get a win or two at least every 5 games. Yeah, and not go. You know what I mean? And,
mate, I think this is the big thing for me, Alex. I think this is the big thing for me. Listen, teams lose games. right?
Yeah.
I'm a Spurs fan. How much losing do you think I've seen over the last 40 years? We lose games. For
Yeah, it
me,
becomes disappointing.
it's the volume of games we're losing. And listen, as I said, like, I'm not going to put Man U on a pedestal, but what I will do is say Man United went to Liverpool yesterday and Amorim tweaked things. Amorim clearly had them. You could see, we know he plays three at the back. You could see out of possession, it was a clear as day back five. Like, not wing backs. It was clear as day. Dallo and the other one, Mazraoui.
Mazraoui, yeah.
They tucked in so deep that it was a back five and Liverpool couldn't break it down for the best part of the game. I want to see things like that from Ange. I want to see Ange go to Liverpool and say, right, no matter who's available, close the gaps. But what he does is says, this is how we play, right? We just play like this. And what managers like Slot do is go, that's fine. You do your gung-ho football. All we're going to do is keep pinging balls over the top to Salah, to Diaz, to Gakpo. And Man, you didn't let Liverpool do that yesterday. Yeah, the goal, don't get me wrong, the Liverpool goal, one of them was pure class from Gakpo, and the other one was a penalty. Yeah. Other than that, Liverpool struggled to get many clear-cut opportunities in the game. And we don't do that. We concede.
Yeah, it's not even just Liverpool you're talking about. You're talking about the best team in the world right now, the best club team in the world right now. And that's what you should take into account, that what they did wasn't just against Wolves or they managed to stop Cunha, or they stopped the best team in the world, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what I said in the chat earlier. Like, Ange he's so praised because of his glorious start, and it was a glorious start. He got manager of the month 3 times in a row. It hasn't been done by any other Spurs manager before, etc. You could bring all of those things up. Nothing speaks about it being the same as Amorim, because he came in mid-season and just had a window right away, and he had his players, of course. But I really like Amorim, even though the fact that they didn't score a single goal against Wolves, Newcastle, and what was that again? The loss previous to that. I don't know. You could a lot of United fans that were really, really, really like positive of Amorim. They started doubting, but it's the beginning, and you come in mid-season, it's different, Ange. I know that. And there's the second thing. So I just wanted to get this quick before I get off. It's a little debate going around about Kinski and Austin for Wednesday, about whether they should start. I want to make the argument that people say, Austin got man of the match. He had a good, much better performance than people expected, at least. But for that first goal, Gordon came in when we got opened up because Bergwall's through ball didn't go through when he hit Joe Linton's hand. When they got through and you could see Gordon running down that flank with that space, I just felt like we had Forster in goal when he slotted it into the left corner, because you knew where Gordon was going to put it. It's always that left corner shot, and Austin wasn't even close. I'm not saying he did bad throughout the throughout the game in general, but just in that moment, it wasn't. He didn't even get close to the goal, And I feel like Liverpool, they love to put those flank shots into the opposite corner, and I just feel like Kinski, he's here to he's supposed to compete for Vicario for that number 1 spot, and what other game to prove himself for, other than Liverpool. So
I think it's interesting, Alex. Who would you start? Who would you start on Wednesday?
Kinski, because you can't forget the fact that Austin is 26 and he's been at the club for this long without having gotten his debut. And we've had goalkeeper injuries, but he hasn't ever even gotten ahead of the second goalkeeper we had. So,
look, I think the difficulty with this is, look, again, if we're looking at it in isolation, I thought it was a good display from Austin. I know people go over the top. We always go over the top. Like, look how people are going over the top about Bergvall. For me, Bergvall did some really nice stuff. Also gave the ball away a lot. So I weigh it up and go, okay, he did all right.
You got to include
some people just go, oh, he's amazing. And you're like, whoa, like we do it with every player. Same with Austin. I thought Austin did some good bits. I thought he did well, considering it was his full debut, which is crazy considering his age. But for me, I think you've got to say, if you are bringing in Kinski, well, we've brought in Kinski. He's being talked about as the next best goalkeeper to come out of the Czech Republic. Peter Cech is bigging him up. surely you throw him in. Surely you're not buying him to be understudy to Forster or Austin. So surely you go, right, go on, you're playing. That's what I would say.
And he's a goalkeeper. It's not like he has to get used to all the positional intricacy about where to be on the pitch if he plays that. He's a goalkeeper. He's supposed to do
This is
one
what I
thing.
don't.
He's
This is
supposed
why I don't understand when people say things like he's got no English league. You're a goalie. Like being a goalie is being a goalie. Like,
everywhere.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's my argument, and his stats speak for it. I know. I'm not even into stats because I'm more of an eye person. I watch football with my eyes. I watch most of the leagues in Europe. I'm not watching them consistently, but I watch a lot of different leagues, and just as a goalkeeper, you have one job, and that's to keep the ball out of the net, basically. And Kinski, he's had a season of consistent game. He's played every single game for probably the season up until now. So it's not like he's a Moani. You could argue a Moani who we were linked to. He hasn't been in the PSG squad until December.
He's not cold. He's not cold, right? He's been
exactly. So who knows?
Yeah, look,
I think
it's going to be interesting.
Might even get an assist against Liverpool with a beautiful kick out. I don't know. You just have to see. But I would start him because who knows?
Listen,
Austin starts.
If the club have identified him, Alex. If the club have identified this is going to be the next best thing. This is going to be the goalkeeper we want in our squad to be our number one or our number two. Bring him in, play him. Right? Let's be brutally honest. It's no different to Brandon Austin, who made his debut at the weekend. But I mean, I don't understand this. Like we're saying, you play this new keeper and you're asking him to start via a team that have already knocked 6 past you. What do we do then? Say, okay, well, we're not going to play him against Arsenal because Arsenal have already beaten us this year. We're not going to, for me, you're a goalkeeper. You're a professional goalkeeper. You've been bought. You'd like to think the club have done all of their homework on his data, on his performance. I mean, and then we're going to have this thing where, no, you can't put him in straight away. Sod that. Get him in. Yeah. Let's see how good he is.
I'll say this. I think he'll get a run now. He'll start basically every game bar Hoffenheim and Elfsborg later this month because I think Austin will be our second goalkeeper in kind of Europe. And I think when Vicario comes back, they'll be cautious with him. And I think for the foreseeable future, I think Kinski will be our number one goalkeeper until Vicario gets a shot. Because this guy, he's not a... I know people like to say a kid. Oh, we've signed another kid. He's 21, but he's not really. His maturity, you can listen to the way what he craves for himself outside of football. He is more of an adult than a kid, and he has the experience of Europa League. He has Champions League experience, a few appearances here and there, and he's not a kid in that sense because I think if you throw him in, he'll be ready straight away. Bergvall, Archie, if you start them for the first games during the season, you wouldn't say they look ready. They wouldn't be because they need that acclimatation because they're out. Like they play outside of the goalkeeper is much different. It's so much different. Throwing a goalkeeper in isn't the same as throwing in an 18-year-old midfielder into a highly physical clash against Newcastle. It's not the same. It's never going to be the same. Like it's you just playing out of the back is not an issue for him as we've most have heard. So I guess that's that.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. For me, I don't think this is like just chucking in a brand new centre back into a new partnership. If he's the goalkeeper they want. By the way, he has trained today. I've just seen that him, Mikey Moore, and Richarlison all trained for the first team today. So, sod it, get him in. I mean, I think we've been so bad. What harm can it do? All right, put him in. If he makes a mistake, he makes a mistake. We've seen mistakes from Vicario. We've seen mistakes from Forster. Get him in. Otherwise, don't bring him in the January window if he's not ready. Bring him in the summer and give him the summer to train.
Yeah, people are like they're afraid to hurt Austin's feelings because he got a good game against Newcastle. He should get no. If you're that good, then prove it against Hoffenheim, where he probably will get a start and prove it then. And just want to get this fact out.
Yep.
People saying, "Oh, we signed the 5th goalkeeper. Why is that our first January signing?" We'll have 3 official first-team goalkeepers at the next summer transfer window because Forster and Whiteman's contract run out in the summer, so they're going to be gone. We're not going to extend any of them, I reckon. Gunter or Keeley will take Whiteman's place as the club one of the club trained goalkeepers, and Austin will remain the third. So we'll have Vicario, Kinski, and Austin basically, because Forster and Whiteman will be gone. So it's for once proactive recruitment.
Yeah,
you could argue, because
look,
once this
I've
is
got
done,
no problem with it.
yeah, our goalkeeping department is sorted. You could argue now it's the least of our worries in our squad. Now
We'll see.
you want to see an attacker.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see. I've heard this a lot about many departments. I heard how good our midfield was in the summer and that we didn't need midfielders. I heard how good we were at the back. I heard how good our forward line is. And look, at the end of the day, we're going to see, as with anything in football, time will tell. At the end of the day, listen, good luck to the lad who's come and joined us, Kinski. Let's hope he is brilliant. Get him in there. I think fans are a little bit more lenient. If you sign a young player and he has a mistake or two in him, I think we know it's going to happen. But for me, what I don't want is the fans to overgas every young player we get. We get a young player and they put them on this pedestal so early.
They've been so starved. I think the fans are so starved. It's not even starved. We know
right.
that we know that we're not signing experienced players anymore. We're not signing Perisic's anymore. We're not signing, can go far as back to Van der Vaart. Like, we're not signing these kind of players, and we know we're gonna sign younger Kinski type players that have first team experience, or Archie Grace and Bergvall, so we have no first. That's the kind of range of players we're gonna go for. So just because they have that kind of, that's the players we sign now. So to have some hype to put around the players, they put it on kids instead of when they should be put on a Fratesi, for example. Let's say, imagine a player like that came into the club, then that's someone you can put your hype around because they have a name to rely on. They have a relate, but we don't do that now. We don't sign these kind of players. So our fan base that loves to put hype on players, they're not doing it on the kids because they have no one else experienced to put it on. I think that's why.
No, I agree. For me, I need to see players over a period of time. Like for example, as I said at the weekend, I thought Bergvall, was very 50-50 for me. I think, and the way I would sum it up, I'm watching the game back, is when Bergvall's got a lot of time on the ball, he's got a lovely range of passing, right? Yeah. For me, where I think he'll develop is at the moment when he's put under pressure, he gives the ball away a lot. He's not getting passes out quick enough, but he's 18. So for me, I say, there's a lot of talent there. Let's let him grow, because I think the thing is, as you get older, you see so many players that have been hyped up that never actually live up to that hype, but fans have all said they're amazing. Then I get told I'm hating on the youngsters. I'm not hating on them. Let's give them time. Let's see what they do over a period of time. Then we can talk about how amazing they are.
Yeah, that disappointment in a player not making it's based on delusion, really, because the expectations of that player in the beginning they're not based on actual performances. They're just based on their name being hyped up. So when they get disappointed that this player doesn't make it, it hasn't been based on actual top tier performance, actual glimpses of brilliance. It's more like, the name of which we put this talent on wasn't lived up to. That's basically what it is. Yeah, and I watched Bergvall for. I actually played in the same club as him as a youth. I played for Bromma Pojkarna when I was because I'm from Sweden. I played for the P10s all up till I was 13. Yeah. And Bergvall was always one of the biggest stars. I'm not saying that he'll be at Madrid in 5 years, but he's always been one of the biggest youth products in Sweden. And I said it at the start of the season. The more trust and the more game time Bergvall gets, the more he'll develop. I'm not saying he'll.
Of course.
I'm not saying he'll have a Kobe Mainu effect where he just comes into the team and just elevates up. I'm saying that the more game time he gets, the more trust he gets by the manager, whether that's Andrew or another manager that comes in, he'll grow. He'll grow steadily and he'll become a better player with time.
Look, Alex, it's the same as anything.
He's done that during his entire career.
It's the same as anything. Any young player needs game time. What they do with that game time is then up to them and also up to the manager. You know,
Exactly.
most of it is going to be on the player. How much do they learn? How much do they watch? How much do they mature? How much do they train hard? The other part of it is going to be, does the manager put them in a position that allows them to flourish?
Exactly.
Now, for me, Archie Gray and Bergvall are no different to any other 18-year-olds. They've got talent. You can see it. But for me, when I'm told, oh, he's generational and this, look, we'll see. We'll see, right? Let's let them get there first, all right?
Yeah.
But Alex, I am going to let you go. Look, thanks very much for coming on. I really do appreciate you, and thank you very much for the conversation. And I'll speak to you again soon, okay?
Yeah, I respect the grind, Savva. Keep it up, and I'll be in the chat. Okay.
Take care, man. Take care. See you soon.
Take care.
And listen, big up to Alex there. Thank you very much for coming on. Olmo has said, Savva, would you take Xerxes from us? No, I think Xerxes needs, I think if Spurs are going to bring in a player at the moment, it doesn't need to be another player that needs time to settle in and develop. I think if we're going to bring players in, I think we need to bring players in that can kind of hit the ground running. I like Xerxes. I think there's a lot of talent there. But again, another player that needs time to develop rather than being told he's brilliant or shit this early on. It works both ways. We say young players are shit. We say they're amazing. For me, let's give them time. Yeah. Some people are different. When Steven Gerrard burst onto the scene, you could see immediately, wow, this boy's a play. Like, you could see it. Joe Cole was another one. Wayne Rooney. I think now we're trying to do it with every 18-year-old. We're trying to go, this is the future of Spurs. This is the best player. Sure, let's see what happens with them. And apparently that's not good for some people. They want me to be hyped. I can't get excited about kids who are on loan at Leyton Orient and Warsaw and Oxford. Fair play. Go out there, do your time, learn your trade. It's about what happens when they come back to Spurs and how they're mentored and how they're grown and looked after and how they're developed. Guys and girls, there isn't anybody else in the back of the chat, so I am going to leave it there. A very quiet one tonight. Guys and girls, I will be live at 7:45. At 7:45, it is going to be, 23 minutes from now, a live watch-along of Wolves versus Nottingham Forest. I'm going to put that link there. If anyone would like to join me at that time, please do come and join us. I know certain people will be there with me. It's on Big Up, really good platform. You just need to create an account. It takes like 30 seconds or something, if that, 15 seconds. It's really cool. Over there, we've got GIFs and threads and tactics boards and scoreboards. And so please do come and join us over there and become a community member. And I think kickoff is at 8 p.m. on that one. And by the way, this is absolutely. Curtis Jones, another one. Yeah, took his time, showed a bit of promise, wasn't getting loads of game time, has bided his time over the years, and now is starting to flourish. Really good example that. Some players, Conor Gallagher, went on loan to a better club, and then a better club, then he's in the Chelsea first team. I truly think that we just get too excited very quickly. Anyway, guys and girls, thank you very much. Really enjoyed that. A nice cheeky hour and 20 minutes there. There's the link again. Please save that and join. If you go over to there, you will see that there's a button to be able to be a community member. Please do join. It really does mean a lot. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribers. And as I said, we are only about 140 away from 13.5K, which will be amazing. So I'll see you hopefully in 20 minutes for Wolves versus Nottingham Forest. Take care, everyone. And as always, come on, you Spurs.